Welcome back to the course. In this class, I'm going to give you two more examples on wireframing. We're going to do a wireframe for a social media post and a wireframe for a magazine layout. Now let's dig in. So in this, we're going to first draw a square. Most social media posts are squares, so you need to take note of that. And let's say I'm doing an ad for an agency. Let's say I'm looking for a social media manager, right? I like to put my text here. Let's just put the text here. The reason why I'm making them bold is like they're going to be bold captions, right? And then here I could put a tiny copy saying blah blah blah, welcome to this, we need this, and all that. And I could probably do the logo here, right? So the idea of this is this 1, 2, and 3 would be my main copy, while this, okay, let's change the color here so that it looks all nice. Well, here, hope the color is different. Yeah, it is. Well, here would be like a call to action, CTA, call to action. And then I could keep the company's logo at the bottom right. So let's just call this the logo. Now, another key thing you need to remember in wireframing is you need to guide your user from the top to the bottom. How do you want them to read? What's more important? Now, the reason why I'm making this section here, now let me turn the color up. Let's use green. I love green. Green is a good color. Okay, so the reason why I'm making this big and bold is because this is the first thing I want my audience to see, right? And then let's change the color again. We're going to go through a lot of colors, so stay with me. And the reason why I'm calling the CTA, okay, good. Why it's this small is because it's the next thing I want them to see. So there's a user flow here. From the top, this is 1, this is 2, and then this is 3. That's the order I want them to see with my elements. Remember, in this part of the world, we read from left to right, top to bottom. So if you can see, my flow is 1, 2, 3. That's from the top left, bottom right. So that's how you read, and that's how I want to guide my users. So first, I want them to know what this whole art is about. Then I want them to know where they could submit their applications, and then next I want them to know who is behind this, right? So now let's just jump right in and let me show you what it became. Ta-da! So from this you could see clearly we still followed the flow of the original layout. You see we have the text here, and the text is also here. Social media manager wanted here. This is where your creativity comes in, where you understand typography, and that's in the next class or next module. You understand what typography is about. But here I was being creative with it and playing around, taking out some elements of words or letters and let you fill in the blank. Another tip and secret why I did is because I wanted my audience to interact with the design. I didn't just want it to be a bland design. I wanted it to be more interactive. And next you can see we have space for skilled social media managers in our organization here. Send your CV to hr@imagineeringng.com. That's more like my call to action, why I'm telling them this, more detail, right? And then at the bottom right, you can see the logo here, which is who is responsible for this, who did this, who's sending out the post. So now you see clearly how the wireframing for this. It matters because now I could tell, okay, this is the hierarchy of information. This is where I wanted more emphasis on, and this is where I wanted the reader or user to see, the things I want him to see last. So now let's move on to the next example. For a magazine layout, it's slightly different, but still follows the same principle. Like we want your reader to read from the top to the bottom, from left to right. So let's just do an example here. I'm going to change my color again to red. Red's a beautiful color, by the way. Okay, so let's say we draw this out. Remember, you could do this on a piece of paper and pen or pencil. You don't necessarily have to use an iPad for this. I have the luxury of having this, so it makes it easier for me. Okay, now most magazines have headers, titles, names, right? So let's call this, for the top part, we'll just do this, and then we'll know that this is the title and say magazine title. Yes, I spelled that right. And then I want the image to flow behind, right? So I'm just going to do a big X here, meaning the whole image has an image, the whole background has an image filled with it, right? Next, we're going to draw, I want to have text. So my text, I don't want my text to be up here because it's going to make it busy, right? I need space for the image to breathe, right? So I'll probably put my text at the bottom here. So maybe headline, Beyonce's coming to town, you know, or headline, Wizkid is performing tomorrow, you know, or headline, Peter is #1 star, you know, I'm playing. Anyway, so now I have a layout, simple layout of how I want the cover of my magazine to be like. I have my title, I have my headlines, that's what's called this headlines. Headlines, let's call this headlines, right? And now I can say, okay, this is basically what I want. So now, let me show you what the final product would look like using that wireframe. Ta-da! You can see it, right? So let's change the color of the pencil so that you could take note. Now first, you see, same title. We have title here, and we have headlines here. If you notice at this section, we have headlines like this, and the image fills the background. Remember, I wanted the image to breathe. I wanted the image to have space so it could show itself, right? So you could see our character here, Mona Lisa, is full center and she's attractive, right? So you could see her clearly, but the text doesn't cover up her face. At the same time, the text doesn't take away from the beauty of the imagery. That's why understanding layout, imagery, and typography, and all these basic elements of design will help you in creating a good artwork. Okay, so now that we understand that, let's do a random, let's do a bonus. So we're going to do a live sketch. I haven't done this before, it's not of my past work. We're going to create a poster, a wireframe for a poster. So let's dig into this. Let's create a new layer. Means a new piece of paper, you know. For those of you using pencil and paper, don't be afraid of that. That's the beginning of design, pencil and paper. This is just more modern, right? So let's say you want to run for, you're doing a campaign, you want to run for head girl in your school, right? And we want it to be a social media post. So we're going to draw, let's make it a social media post. Or do we? Yes. And then let's say I want the picture to fill up the background, right? So I could say that the picture fill up the background here. I want the logo of the school. I could place the logo of the school at the top right or the top left, depending on the image. So let's say the image is that you or whoever you're designing for, the person is looking to the left. So I'm just going to draw a little caricature here. Bear with me, all right? My drawing is somewhat good. So let's say we have a face here. We have a neck here, you know, don't laugh at me, my drawing sucks, I know. But the audience or the character here is looking in this direction, right? So it doesn't make sense for me to place my logo here. It's too distracting because it's going to interfere with my subject's face. So how about we place the logo here? So place the logo here. You see, everything is coming together. So we have the logo at the top left. Let's label this so that we don't forget. So we say this will be the logo of the school, your school, right? And now I want to put the name of the person here in play. So I still have this bottom section here. Let's change color. I still have this bottom section here to play with. So I could simply do, let's see, I would like his name here and here to the right. Okay, and then I want, this is the office, so I could write this. Okay, no, let's take that out. Let's take it a little bit higher, because remember the key things we want to show here is we want to show the logo, we want to show the picture. We also want to show the position or his name. Let's start with his name, and we want to show his position or what he's running for, right? So first of all, we need to make sure all these elements are represented properly. So we have the logo, that's a check, so we can cross that off. We have the picture, that's a check, we can cross that off. Now we need to put his name and his position, and don't forget we want vote for. That's a key, that's a call to action. It's very important, vote for. So let's just write vote for here, vote for. Okay, so where do you think we can place this? Okay, so if we put his name here at the top right, put his name here, then put his position. Okay, let's color them. So the name is green and his position is red and his Okay, name, okay, that's name and position is there, and then vote for, we could put vote for here. So we could bring this down. Let's bring this down a little bit. Oh, what's the eraser? That's the eraser. We're gonna clean this. Let's clean this, and we'll get back to that. So let's put red. We said we'll do red for his name, right? Okay, no, for position. So we put a position here, and we put the name. Let's put the name as purple. Name will be here. So we want vote for will be big here, because remember that's the main thing we want them to see, right? So you can see there is a hierarchy from top to left. At the same time, the design doesn't really look balanced. I want to make sure that everything is balanced, right? So we've seen that there's a problem with the design. So what if we move everything to the left? The text, that's the name, the position, and vote for to the left, so that everything seems balanced. Okay, so let's try that now. We're going back, we're erasing. Yes. And now we can do that. So let's put vote for here. It's big, and then we could have his name underneath, and then we could have his position underneath. So we have position here, then we have his name here, and then we have votes for here. So doesn't this look good, right? So now we kind of see or know how everything looks like. Now I can start bringing in my elements. I now know that it's a square, it's a dimension I want to use, and then I could put the logo, put every other element in its place. Remember, I was working with you for the first time, and you could see that I made a mistake and my design was leaning too much to the right. So I had to make sure that my elements were properly balanced. That's another key thing wireframing does for you. It helps balance your wireframes, your elements, sorry. So now that we fixed it, we now know, okay, this looks good, this is okay, I can now jump into the real thing. So now as an assessment, what you're going to do is you're going to take this wireframe I have done and create a poster for yourself. So pick a picture of a friend or family member. Let's just say we want them to be voting or running for an office or anything. Let's see how good you could use what you've learned in that project. So I will see you in the next class.